Well, we're just getting started on another one, and I didn't even give you guys a proper introduction, but this is the second oldest house in town. It was built in 1903, and somebody new just bought it, and he's totally remodeling it. And as part of that, he also wants to take out some trees because, well, this big pecan, can't see it now, it was leaning right over towards the house, and I should have got footage because it one had me puckered a little bit just because the way it was leaning, but thankfully I loosened the roots on this side, got over on kind of the back side of it. It was standing right about where the roots are at, a little bit ahead of where it was at because I pulled it back. But anyway, I was able to get between it and the house basically and push it, and it laid out in the yard just oh so perfect. I mean, I don't think a single limb even, it had a couple kind of hanging over the house, but I don't think a single one of the tips of the limbs even touched the house. So we're gonna get it bucked up, but there's that one, and then we've got this big sycamore, which I've been looking for a sycamore for a while. We're taking it out. This one's going to be a challenge because we've got to actually lay it out in the street. There's power lines here, power lines there, the house is there, so we're gonna have to actually push it out in the street and then pull it back out of the street as quick as we can. And my only space to work is I've got to get around the ditch right here, and then I can get up behind it. This little stump here, I'll just, you know, kind of rip it off, but it's gonna be really tight getting in there. The whole job's really tight. Obviously, I'm in the backyard of the house in town. So, but anyway, there's this big pecan I took down. There's that big sycamore. There are two more pecans over here beside the driveway, and a third pecan on the front corner of the house, which that's this one here. I'm not gonna dig that stump because it's right beside the foundation, but we are gonna help pull the tree down. And then there's a whole bunch of crepe myrtle trees that he wants gone, or bushes. We're going to dig those out and take them home and just plunk them in a hole and see if they don't survive being transplanted. If they do, they do. If they don't, oh well. So basically we are clearing this guy's yard. For lack of a better term, we're clearing his yard. But same as the other ones, I'm doing it because I wanted this pecan wood. So we'll have a really good inventory of pecan logs in the yard when this is all said and done. And I'm getting the sycamore, which I've wanted for a while. Well, I'll just give you all a quick tour update. I know I'm not getting any action footage here, but it's just pushing trees down. It's just a little bit more nerve-wracking because it's tight quarters. But basically, I just started back here with the first one. And like I said, I'm just working my way around. Pluck the trees out of the way, shove the brush up against the fence. So we are spending a little bit more time. You know, we're having to break them down, at least into the major limbs, in order to even have space to work. So like this one, you know, there was another one here. We had to knock it down, get it all processed out. The stump and the logs is over on the other side there, you can't even see them. We had to get it out of the way to then have a place to put this one, and that's kind of what we've been doing, is just going round and round and round. This one was the scariest one because it's got this big rot spot in the base of it. I figured this thing, once I started pushing, I figured it was just going to snap off, but it actually fought me I think harder than any of them. This was the hardest one. I had to reposition a couple times to get behind it and really shove on it, but the soil is really, really sandy, which is a big help. So they're just pretty well falling right out. But this is that other little pecan that I mentioned, you know, from the other side of the house. We're not going to dig the stump on it because it's right by the foundation, but we are going to, or at least help pull it down. So we'll get a chain on it. Once we get all this mess cleaned up, we'll get a chain on this one and we'll pull it just right out here across the driveway and get it down out of the way. So around back here, I'll just show you. These were the 3 crepe myrtle trees, or bushes, for what they're worth. They may be totally destroyed, but I folded the thumb up and was able to just kind of hook right under them. You see, I skinned them up a little bit, but these trees, they're super ridiculous how well they grow. So it would not surprise me at all if they survive. We're gonna take them home, I guess. We'll just dig a hole in the yard and drop them in it and see if they even survive. If they don't, oh well. If they do, cool. Here's the 2 best pecan logs. There's a 12.5 and I think a 10.5. These were out of that first tree right here in the back. And we got the stump. And then of course we still got the sycamore to do. But anyway, I got a few more minutes here before the bus. So I'm gonna get over here and buck on this other log for just a little bit, and that'll be it for today. All right, well, we got the sycamore down. I started to dig it out, but Lord have mercy, these things got some roots on them. I busted the roots probably 3/4 of the way around, but I got to where it's so tight. I mean, the house is right here. There's a sign over there, you know, with wires behind me, the road's over here. So I didn't really have space to work like I wanted to, and I said, well, let me just get on it and push it. You know, cut it, push it down, at least that way we get it down safe. But I actually managed to not put it out in the intersection. That's where I wanted it to go. But it's just blocking one street. So we're gonna jump up on it, limb it out here best we can, and then get it dragged back in off the street at least, and then finish cutting it up. Well, we just got it home. This last load of pecan from the clearing job there in town around my old house. And I got a couple big ones, big pecans, decent length. There's 12.5 foot in there and a 10 foot. And I think this one's about 9 foot. You can see it's just starting to fork right there. There's a knot, it might be hollow, I don't know. And then a couple littler ones that realistically, at this point I've got so much pecan, I probably should have left this stuff for the woodcutters, but went ahead and took it. But of course the grand champion of the job is this big sycamore. Big bad sycamore. And it's got a pretty decent, I measured about 31 inches across the short axis on the butt there. It's got this big weird growth on the side, and I don't know if there's such a thing as, you know, sycamore burls if they're fancy, but it's got a good 12 foot, I think, from there to about here that's pretty straight. And then it kind of takes this twist, and so, you know, we'll get 12 and maybe 6 or 7 out of it. But anyway, that one's big and heavy. So, and it's got this great big node on the side. I'm not going to be able to throw a chain around it and just pull it off of there because it's just not going to roll over. I'm not going to pull it with the tractor. So I've got to figure out how I can jerk it off of there, and I may actually go ahead and cut it in half on the trailer. I've also got, see, a limb there and a knot there. Those are going to make it hard to roll to this side. But I'm going to go ahead and get the pecan off anyway. Hopefully the tractor will cooperate with me. My hydraulic pump's going out, but hopefully I can get at least a little bit more out of it. And yeah, that's all I can say. Hopefully I get the stuff off there. If not, Rosie's going to have to come home from the job just to unload the trailer, and that's going to be inconvenient. But I'm fixing to bring her home here anyway so that I can spend some time here and actually start getting some of this stuff milled out, especially obviously the walnut. So anyway, let's try to pull them off there and see. Hopefully they come off without too much fuss. And I'm just gonna drop them right in here. I've got a hole, I've got a couple white oaks here, and I've got, of course, my red oaks and white oaks down there, but I've got enough space in here. I should be able to get all the pecan and that sycamore off. I can get all the pecan and put it here, and then back up a little bit and roll the sycamore off right there. That's the plan. So we'll see. We shall see.